Hey guys, Dr. Lograno here, Paul, and just wanted to take a few minutes to just talk about the big weekend that's coming up. And this can be used for any big weekend that's coming up because in America, almost every other week, there's a big weekend coming up. Never mind what goes on in our personal lives. Okay, so this weekend, the big weekend is Super Bowl. Okay, just remember in 2 weeks, it's going to be Valentine's Day. And 2 weeks after that is the Daytona 500. And then a few weeks after that is Easter. And a few weeks after that is Memorial Day weekend. So you can see how this thing flows. And then you got the whole summer season, et cetera, et cetera. So I first want to talk philosophically about this, and then I'm just going to some practical things, and I'm going to be sending an email with the practical things. But philosophically, I find that most clients, their biggest issue is assessing their own motivation. Okay, so I very often get people that write on their client profile sheets that their motivation's an 8 or a 9, sometimes even 10. Okay, and then something like Super Bowl comes up or any other holiday or event, and they start asking, can they have a piece of cake, or can they have a glass of wine, or they can have a beer? And so that's not an 8, 9, or 10. Okay, that's a 5 or 6. Okay, and that's the quote on the right-hand side. That's that I'm interested. That's the difference between interested and commitment. Okay, so you're committed when things are okay in your life. There's no bad stressors. There's no good stressors like parties or events and stuff like that, which is very rare. And you're interested. You do it then. But when something comes up, then all of a sudden you start to rationalize. Again, this doesn't make someone a good person or a bad person. I'm just saying this because when you're able to assess your own motivation adequately, and then that pulls you into being congruent with what you really want. Okay, so I don't believe there's failures. I just believe that sometimes people just don't want it as much as they're saying it. Because remember, we're not telling people you can't eat. We're not telling people you can't go to parties. We're not even telling you can't eat good food. We're just saying, hey, while you're in fat burning, you don't want to take in extra carbs. It's really that simple, okay? So remember, these things are schemas, these weekends and these events. And what I mean by a schema is it's set up it's corporatized to think that if you're going to a Super Bowl party, you have to eat and drink. And they love it. They make a lot of money. Okay, and the players on the field are making a lot of money. Okay, but they don't care about your health. Okay, they're getting paid millions and millions of dollars. And I'm a big fan of living my life on the field instead of being a spectator and escaping to other people's lives and other people's victories. Okay, so to me, I want my own victories. Okay, and so. It's not to say that I won't watch a Super Bowl game, but it's not if it's going to interfere with something that I want to do and said I wanted to do. So if it falls into my day, very good. If it doesn't fall into my day, I'm not watching it. That's just the bottom line. Okay. And that gets to this quote over here. If you don't sacrifice for what you want becomes a sacrifice. And it's just that simple. Now, practically speaking, for those that do end up going to a party or whatnot, you may want to show up a little bit late. You may want to leave a little bit early. Bring a big water bottle. Bring, obviously, your own lean ingredient. Make sure you have a fueling before you go into the party, and have a fueling afterwards for the car ride home. And just, think to yourself, hey, you know what? I'm going to be so excited to get home, get a good night's sleep, and I got a lot of things that I want to do on Monday. Instead of what a lot of people do is they're escaping their work week. They're going to party and drink and escape and drink. And guess what? They're going to be absolutely miserable on Monday. Okay. And that's what I see it all the time. People around in my own life, in my own job and whatnot. So that's my thoughts. I hope it helped. I didn't want to be too preachy, but it's just some things that I want people to think about because I believe in people. And I think that anybody can do this. If you think it's going to throw you off, but you're committed, you simply don't go. Plan something nice with your family or your loved one and do something different for, especially if you never watch football. Okay. Or don't even know who the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons is. In any case, everybody have a great weekend, and thank you. Take care.